Hey, welcome to this video where we're going to take a closer look at the Behringer Control2usb. If you're looking for a simple and affordable solution to connect your instruments and your gear to your computer, then you'll want to stick around for this one. With this device, you can easily turn your analog sound into digital sound, which allows you to work with your favorite digital audio workstation software. So sit back, grab a coffee, and let's get started. Dad, what do you got for us?
So it's got the input section here, which is the what they call the source section. I've got my laptop computer, which Pro Tools is set up on that knob. I've got another computer set up that I'm setting up Pro Tools on for someone else on there, so I can hear that one. But you can turn it off, you can turn it on. Usually, this is a USB button here that you can use. This it's actually in the audio interface. I don't use that function, but you could turn that on as a source here if you had this hooked up digitally to the computer. And then there's a fourth one where I usually hook up my TV output, my speaker output on the TV, so that I can, if I wanted to watch TV and here take a break, I can turn it on, listen to it on the speakers. So there's the source there. All right, here's the middle section. Here is where the big knob is. I got a piece of tape on there because one of the things, probably one of the few things that I didn't like about this unit was that the little indentation didn't have a little white, you couldn't see it. And so I like to see that indentation so I know where my zero is. So I put a piece of tape on there and I made a little mark so I can make my, so I can see the little indentation so that I can know where I am with when I turn it up and down. No, just a workflow thing. So these buttons here, one's a mono button. When you turn that on and off, you can now take this signal going to your speakers, turn it into a mono signal. And what that does is that it checks the integrity of your mix. If there's a phasing thing on one of the instruments going on and you press this button to mono like that, what's going to end up happening is it's going to be out, they're out of phase with each other, so they're going to cancel and it's going to go away. It's going to let you hear that when you go to mono, like, oh, what happened to the bass? It just all of a sudden went away when I hit the mono button. That means something on the left side's out of phase with the right side of the bass. So you may have put some kind of a plug-in or some kind of a phasing thing in it inadvertently on the bass, and it's going to go away if somebody, and out there in the world, there's people still listening to stuff mono, by the way, which is mind-boggling to me, but that's the truth. Of course, you've got a mute button. You can quickly mute the speakers or anything going out of this thing. This dim switch right here, which I use sometimes, it just drops the level of the mix down pretty drastically. I think there's a control for it in the back. You can turn up and down. So when you hit that dim switch like that, you now can listen at a very low level, critically listen to something. You can, usually when you listen to something really low, you can see what the blend really is. Like if your vocal's too loud and it's just a little too loud for the mix, you can drop your vocal down by listening to that. So you can check your balances on that type of thing with that dim switch. A really cool feature that I love about this box is this talkback feature. So it's got this built-in microphone right here with the little holes on it. You can see it right there. When you press this button, it takes this microphone signal and adds it to the output of this headphone jack, and whatever you have plugged into this headphone jack. Like right now I've got the source, so I've got my Pro Tools mix coming through here, and if I press this button, it's going to add that mic to it, and it goes out to my headphone system that I send to the person, the singer or the guitar player, and that way I can talk to them. They all have headphones on. I can talk to them right here and they'll hear me. I can hear them because they've usually got a mic on. But that's what's cool about that. And this is the level you can send. Sometimes you don't want to send it, you don't want to kill them when you turn it on. You don't want it to be too loud in their earphones. So you can level change it there. Great feature there. So up on this set of knobs up here, this is the meter. And right now it's off on green. But when you put it to red like that, the meter, you can see it moving with my microphone. So I set that to be in unity with my audio interface, my Solo, my Apollo Solo. And that if it hits zero, if the mix is hitting zero on that thing, then it's hitting zero on here. That's how I've got it set. And that's just by turning the volume up, the monitor volume on that solo that's sending to here. And the way I'm getting my signal from there is I'm taking my analog left and right out of the Apollo interface, and I'm going with two instrument cables straight into this device right here in one of these sources. That's how I talked about earlier. Now, speaker A is my monitors, my left and right speakers. Speaker B is a sub. And what I do is there's a couple of knobs on the back here. If you was able to see back there, there's a couple of little knobs back there, volume knobs. And I blend those two together to be accurate as possible. And the way that I do that is I listen to a mix that I know is pretty accurate. Like the bottom end's right, the top end's right. And then I blend those two knobs back there to make that mix sound good in this environment, so that now I know my environment is accurate as it can be. And that way when I'm mixing, I don't add too much bass or not enough bass or too much highs or whatever. Now I know I have when I'm putting something in on Pro Tools and I'm mixing stuff in, the speakers they're pretty transparent at that point. As far as for the blend of them. So that's a really cool feature there. Another great, this area here, which is the headphone area, you can choose whether it's a source, which is these orange knobs here, so you see it's orange there, it's orange there, or you can hit the monitor and there's another switch, there's another jack back there, it's called monitor, that you can put another source back there. That's if you wanted to send, if you had like an iPhone plugged in back there with a song that you wanted to show them something, you could switch it there and send them a signal real quick. I usually keep it on that on this source because I'm in this environment. But in the studio world, when you're in a bigger studio, you may want to play a demo. So you would push it there, play and pop it, plug it into the back of here, and you would pop it in, and then you could send it to either these headphones, or if you had some speakers, the studio out, you can turn those on. There's another set of jacks that you can set a whole new set of speakers out in the studio, and that's the volume control for that. So I keep it there and I keep that turned off. And so now what's happening is whatever the source is sending to these headphone jacks, and it's usually my stereo mix. Just really good. Everything about it is cool. I get it for about $150. I think I bought a second one of these. I think I bought it for like $100 on Amazon. They were running a sale of some sort. There's all kinds of versions of this. I particularly like this one because of all the functions. If you wanted to only spend $45 or $50, you could get a smaller version of this. It comes about half that size. Mackie makes them. They call them the Big Knob series. I had a Mackie early on, but it was the thing I love about this is electronic switching. The Mackie was at that time was mechanical switching. That's probably about 10 years ago, and those mechanical switches started to go bad. So I just had to chunk it, and that's when I got this one. Anyway, yeah, that's it. It's this control unit right here. It's an audio controller, basically a little mixer that I use to control my headphones and my speakers.